Right. Fix this shit. Yeah, I guess it's a better. Pardon a little time delay, a little time gap. It's doing a few consultations, looking through a few notes, and kind of got lost time wise. You know, I stay in the moment, so staying in the moment, you tend to lose time like this, um, literally. Yeah, so you know, I've been hip to a few different things going on right now. Uh, a few different things. History wise, ancestral people, individuals are finding where they belong ancestrally. And that's what's up. You know, everything has its own um, value. Everything has its own value and importance to a certain degree. Everybody should know, or the first order entities, the first order people, as a matter of fact, just all people should know or have some kind of idea where and who they come from, where and who they derive from. It's a lot of things going back where people are actually tying themselves back to um, a lot of ancient lineage. Now, this is important, you know. Is it the most important? I wouldn't say anything is the most important. Everything has its own value. Everything has its own value to a certain degree, depending upon what time and era you were in. That's what will determine the value of what you're receiving. Everything has its own staple and foundation of importance and relevance. People tie themselves back to their ancestral lineage is very important. You want to tie yourself back to a certain kind of ancestral lineage. Like I always promote and I always recommend and I always suggest, make sure you have a connection time back to your spiritual lineage. It is the spiritual which is prior to and transcends the physical. Now, we all have a certain yearning and longing for a belonging, to belong to someone somewhere at some time. Like in my older videos, an older video I was saying, you know, claim what's underneath your feet before you claim what's across the street. Now, this is very important. I mean, your spirit chose to be here for a reason, like this live, or your spirit chose to be born here on what we call America, which was many different names. I mean, according to what time and era you're marking will determine the name of the soil that you're standing on. Depending upon how far back you want to tie your roots back, this is very, there's some kind of importance and significance. How you doing, Didi? What's going on? Greetings to you and yours as well. Appreciate you all attending today's live. Started a little late because I was just doing some consultations, going over some notes, and time just zoomed past. Especially stay in the moment. You know how it be. So yeah, you know, you want to have some kind of tie back to something, to some place at some time, some era where you belong. Having genetic lineage is just as important as knowing your spiritual lineage. You know, both have a significant point of relevance and importance. Neither one is more important than the other. But when it comes to this understanding and this path and this gnosis, that which is transparent and invisible is that intelligence which is prior to and beyond, which is your spiritual lineage. Well, how do I find my spiritual lineage? How does one know that their spirit is talking to them or is saying, come here, come this way, follow this, understand this? Well, I always say three things that pull you to how your spirit communicates to you and talks to you. One is interest, an unknown interest, attention, that which holds your attention, and that which you have an unknown affinity to. Not infinity, affinity. It's kind of an undescribed pulling effect, and it pulls you towards it. And it pulls you towards it mostly through symbology, ancient geometry, certain things that may be kind of strange, weird, and abstract to you. What's good, family? Nice to see you here as well. So these are things to keep in mind on how to recognize when your spirit is talking to you or something prior to you and beyond you is trying to get your attention. It's really basically based upon symbology, because these are abstract things that speak to the subconscious mind. You know what I'm saying? These are things that speak to the subconscious mind. All right, what's going on, family? All right, Domingo, nice to see you here, fam. G16, what's up? What's going on? Nice to see you. It's nice to see y'all present. Y'all attending today's live. Started kind of late, like I was explaining to Didi. I was in the moment, a few consultations, going through some notes, setting up for spring classes. Actually, what I'm touching upon today, today's title is You Are Responsible for Creating Your Own Universe. Like literally, not figuratively, not metaphorically, literally. You are responsible for creating your own universe. Now, I'm not talking about the universe that surrounds us or orbits us. Well, not surrounds us. I'm talking about the one that orbits you immediately. Exactly. You are the maker and creator of your reality. Like I said before, there's a lot of things out there right now that are tying us back to our ancient native tribes, ancient American tribes, because over here, we're like over hundreds of thousands of years old. I come from a tribe over, you can say over probably 700, 600,000 years old. And this for anybody who calls themselves Cherokee or something like that. I said it before, I mentioned it a few times in my older videos as well. It's called the Aniyumaya. Also a deeper tribe called the Nunehi. And another deeper aspect of it is called the Unihanehi. And the spirit is not only calling us back to our spiritual lineage, but it's also giving us an anchor in our genetic lineage. Both of these are very important to understand. Like I said, we all have a longing for a certain belonging. We want to belong somewhere. Like you belong to your mother, you belong to your father, you belong to your grandparents, you belong to your genetic family. But to me, to my understanding, my experience, your true family is mental, which is why when you become conscious and you stay on that spiritual stream, you find yourself around different people, or you used to have conversations with your uncle, have certain conversations with your aunt and family gatherings. And it could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be your cousins, it could be whoever. And the conversation ain't really there anymore. You're talking something now that is beyond their vibration. And they can't really vibrate with you on that level. So that you see family members begin to drift off. Even your mate, maybe your husband, maybe your wife, maybe your lady, maybe your man, maybe your kids. How you find your true family is based upon what kind of mental vibration you want. You're given a family and you vibrate to a family. The vibration of a family is your true family, believe it or not. Um, Family, the word family is the word familiar. So your family is that which you find familiarity with. Um, so just in case, certain people may feel weird sometimes, they don't know how to talk to certain people, or they don't know how to approach their family anymore, or talk to them in certain ways, it's because you're somewhere else. You're not seeing eye to eye because you're not on an eye to eye level anymore. You're on a bird's eye view. You're on a hawk's eye view. You're on a falcon eye view looking down. They see you eye to eye, but you see them like this. It's a totally different view, a totally different vantage point of attention. And these things we have to keep in mind. We have to keep these things in mind, or else, this should drive us insane because we're not understanding why, something wrong with me. Because I used to think maybe something was wrong with me back in my time when I was coming up on the beginning of my path. Like something must be wrong with me. I don't know why. I feel like I'm alienated, or I'm alienating my aunt. I'm alienating my uncle. I'm alienating my mother. I'm alienating my father. You feel kind of alienated at the beginning because your conscious mind kicks in and your judgment kicks in, and it says, why am I doing this? Is something wrong with me? Um, is this the right family? Do I have to check myself? What's up with me? What's going on with me? But there's nothing going on with you. There's nothing wrong with you. And there's nothing right with you. You're being what you were called to be. This path is a very private one. I wouldn't say lonely. It's a very private path. It's very personal. It doesn't tend to gather people. It doesn't tend to gather groups. It doesn't tend to gather crowds. That's not what the spiritual mission is for. It's not here for that. Because a spirit is a quality, it's not a quantity. A quantity is based upon numbers, amounts, but the spiritual aspect is not a quantity, it's a quality. Therefore, one can be the highest number that it seeks, and that one can just be you. It is actually just you. It's not really anybody else. It vibrates on its own intelligent vibration. It seeks no one. It seeks nobody. It's not here to become a part of some people or some group or some crowd. The spirit does its own thing. It doesn't care to be a part of any group or any people. And we tend to judge ourselves on this aspect because we just don't know what the hell is going on. We tend to get quantity mixed up with quality. Quality can just be one. Quantity has to be more than one. So if you find yourself seeking a crowd or seeking a group, you are becoming more distant with your spiritual mission. Okay? Or you may not be as spiritual as you think you are if you're seeking people, a group, or crowd. Well, let's go into today's topic. You are responsible for your own universe. You are responsible for creating your own universe because an actual universe exists within you. Literally. You literally have a universe within your central nervous system, within your peripheral nervous system. You have a whole universal system, including black holes within your central nervous system. And they're called glial cells or glial cells, however you pronounce it, however you want to pronounce it. But these black holes are called glial cells, and black holes are vacuum. They're vacuums, and they're seeking what they're trying to vacuum in. They're trying to convert into a light protein or a light aspect, which is what you call stars out there in the universe. It's trying to vacuum in your attention, because anything that's dark, we go and we look for, and we look towards, and we look inside of, like horror movies or dark spots in Jason, Friday the 13th, and Freddy Krueger. We seek the dark naturally. And these glial cells are black holes within our central nervous system that pulls us into our universal creation. You have to begin creating your own universe and be conscious of what universe that you are creating. Our attention tends to get pulled in 100 different directions, and we never actually attend that one intelligence within that is saying, come this way and create. But be mindful of what you are creating. Be mindful of what catches your attention. Be mindful of what holds your interest. We have a lot of histories and ancestral stories, mythologies, a lot of histories. But we got to understand that behind these histories, behind these curtains of history, is the foundation of mystery. As much as you want to know your history, you have to know your mystery. You must, because every history blossoms out from the mystery, mythology, these ancient spiritual systems, no matter who or what it may be. No matter you're talking about the Tartarians, you're talking about the Moors, you're talking about whatever, the Hebrews. It doesn't matter who or what you're talking about. There's a mystery system behind each one of these followings, each one of these religions, or each one of these beliefs, or each one of these faiths. There's something mysterious behind each and every one of these things that we have to begin tying ourselves back to the primal point of what the hell were they doing? What were they thinking? What were they believing? What were they following? What is their faith? What are they about? Where did they come from? And then, because people get seen stories of, understand certain aspects of giantism or giants and certain things, but even the giants had a body. They had a human body. Like I told you before, your human body, the shape and geometry of your human body and your human design is literally the shape of melanocytes in your skin, and the melanocytes in your skin are identical to neurons in your brain. Our bodies are literally neurons in the brain and mind of something else that we cannot fathom. This is why I say you better believe and you better understand that here in this life, in this dimension, all is mind. It is mind. There's too many facts and so much evidence that points to that fact. But without even pointing, looking, or searching for evidence and proof, just look at your human body and your human design. You're literally shaped like a damn neuron. Literally. And a melanocyte in your skin. You're literally shaped like that. So you don't really have to look or read or search for things once you understand the design of your body. And that your hand is also designed like a neuron and a melanocyte. The neuron and the melanocytes on your skin are identical to each other. They look like twins. They're twins. Literally. So how could we not think that all is not mind? Absolutely. All is mind. But what is mind? Mind is the universe, right? All is mind. The universe is mental. So your body is a literal walking universe. But you are given the authority and permission and responsibility to create your own universe mentally. And watch what characters and things that you are putting inside of your universe. Your universe is supposed to not come from something outside. It's supposed to come from something within. Within. All right, what's going on, fam? Eddie Jean. Gali. Nice to see you here, fam. We tend to put characters outside on our inside perception, but your perception is supposed to be your own. Like I said, it's okay to read books from somebody else's perception, but just make sure you have your own perception first. Don't take on somebody else's perception. Once you have your own perception, then it's okay to take on other people. Then it's okay to read other people's perception. But make sure that you have your perception first, because if you don't, you're going to take on their perception. And you're never going to be building your own. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to be able to build your own. Ever. Ever, ever. So you got to be able to go within. And it's very, very important. Very important. Very. This is the whole point. Where is your universe within? What is it? Yeah, it's a certain kind of, depending upon what you're monitoring, because the only spirit that you're monitoring is your own. You are supervising and monitoring your own spirit. You're navigating it. You're directing it into certain realities for a specific reason. For a specific reason. You got to be able to guide your spirit to where it needs to be. All right, 6611. Angel, nice to see you here. What's going on, fam? So, you are responsible for creating your own universe. One may ask themselves, am I really fully responsible for myself and my reality? Am I really fully responsible for myself and my own reality? Yes, you are. See, we also understand the order of a universe or of a reality. You have planetary bodies, you have planets. Planets are governed within the galaxy. No, planets are governed within the solar system. A solar system is governed within a galaxy. A galaxy is within a cosmos, and a cosmos within a universe. We have to know the divine order of things. Exactly. Pride can keep you out. Pride can keep you out. Pride likes the costume. Pride and the ego likes the rings. It likes the chains. It likes the locks. It gives it an image. And this can keep one very surface, and they don't go underneath that surface. That's why I have another video before, I think it's another live, where I say knowledge of self is not self-awareness. Self-awareness is something totally different. Knowledge of self is something internal, but it kind of protrudes out to the external, and it begins to like the mask and costume. And then when knowledge of self turns from an internal experience to an external experience and falls in love with this mask and costume, it turns into a percentage of pride and being proud. And you kind of, one will begin to lose track and make distance between them and their spirit, or them and their soul, because pride and being proud, it finds itself clustered within groups and people and organizations and the way it looks. And people fall in love with their mask and their costume. And it comes in all classes. Some Hebrews fall in love with their mask and costume. Moors fall in love with their mask and costume. It's okay to wear the garment and wear what you represent, but don't let it wear you. Don't let it wear you. Exactly. Exactly. So, you know, you want to represent where you come from, what you're about, and you want to use your body as the Christmas tree to hang your ornaments on, your stones, your crystals, your rings, to have your locks, to whatever you want to do, braids, I don't know, boar-headed, whatever the hell. Whatever represents what you are and what you're about. You want to be able to show that, because you do have an image for a certain reason. You absolutely have an image for a certain reason. So it's okay to utilize your image, but don't let your image use you. That's when it turns into pride. That's when it turns into ego. And then you get real surface and you never get underneath the surface again. You never return back to that intelligence underneath that surface. And these are things to keep in mind. I'm saying, trillionaire goddess one, peace. Peace and war, peace and love, peace and truth to you and yours. Nice to see you attended. So, you know, and when we get kind of diverted and redirect our attention from the internal, we do not begin to create our own universe. A universe is a very internal, insidious, inside, sacred, private, personal creation that puts you in a very special, unique, rare creation mode, that you have to begin painting your picture, painting your perception within. And you paint it within the black holes and the dark spots called glial cells within your central nervous system, as the God that you are. There's a lot of things going on at this moment on the internet all over, but at the same time, there's absolutely nothing going on but you. Where are you putting your attention to? You have to question your attention sometimes, question your interests, because it's the ego seeking things as well. So at the same time, you're on a spiritual mission, seeking spiritual clarity, your ego is right beside your spirit, seeking the same thing. And the spirit is a forward thing and the ego is a pulling thing. It's a latching on thing, a jumping on to the spirit thing. So it's the same thing with Kundalini energy. When you're raising your Kundalini energy or your serpentine fire, the good stuff, what you want to say, the good stuff rises with it. But if you want to say the bad stuff or the positive energy rises with it, but the negative energy latches on to the positive and tries to go for the ride. It's the same thing with the ego. When you're on a spiritual mission, your ego may jump on the back of the spirit and go along for the ride. So we have to be very aware of what we put our attention to and question our attention, question our interest. Why the fuck am I interested in this? For what reason? And what is being interested in this? What is really holding my attention? Is his jewelry holding my attention? Is the color that he's wearing holding my attention? Is the color that she's wearing holding my attention? Is how she's living holding my attention? Is how he's living holding my attention? Symbols, symbology, sacred geometry. These things speak beyond the conscious mind and begin speaking to the subconscious. The conscious is saying, oh, I like the way he or she looks. I like what they're wearing. What is that? No. But it kind of blocks the subconscious mind from fully turning on and activating itself because it's keeping it on the very surface level, on a liking level, a liking or a disliking. And that really has to deal with the brain. But the whole point of creating your own universe is surpassing the brain. You're creating your own star grid, your own star graph, your own star system in your brain. These are called synapses. One neuron sends a synapse to another neuron and it sparks light. So one neuron sparks its light, sends a synapse to the next neuron, and that neuron sparks its light. You're creating a star graph and a star grid in your brain. You're literally creating a constellational system, a solar system within your brain. Literally. And this, once these lights start sparking off, distant lights start sparking off, this constellation begins to appear. This graph of this constellation begins to appear in your brain. And this is what actually bridges you into the understanding of your mind, or bridges you into the realm of mind. Absolute. It bridges you into the aspect of the mind, because we're not trying to stay stuck in the damn brain. We're trying to surpass and supersede the intelligence of the brain in order to begin accessing and activating the powers of the mind. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to supersede this shit, because it's the brain that likes and dislikes things. We're trying to get past like and dislike, because that's the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. But like I always say, my classes and consultations, there would be no left or right brain without the corpus calostrum in the middle. We have to begin being of the corpus calostrum intelligence and not of the left and right brain hemisphere. We get lost in the left and right brain hemisphere. But these two things wouldn't be attached without the middle corpus callosum attaching both brain hemispheres. We have to begin accessing the middle path. The shaman walks the middle path. The things in the middle, the heart, the sexual organ, the corpus callosum, the pineal gland. Everything in the middle is of the most greatest importance, of the most greatest significance, not the things of the sides. We supersede the side to get to the middle. So if you find yourself picking sides or trying to choose whose path looks more greater, whose path or whose knowledge or gnosis seems more ill and sounds more official, that's not the way of choosing. That's not how this path goes. It's not how this path goes. You're supposed to be going beyond these thresholds, beyond these points, beyond these gates. Beyond these gates. Well, when you're talking about alcohol, you have to understand, acknowledging 2007, Roberts, is it an addiction or is it not an addiction? Well, how do we determine that? If you're drinking for just normal human function, like just going to the store, I gotta have a drink going to the store. I gotta have a drink just to read something. I gotta have a drink just to watch a movie. I gotta have a drink just to take a walk. I gotta have a drink just to take a drive. It becomes an addiction. If you're doing it in certain kind of settings, like with your woman or with your mates or family occasions, family gatherings, times when you want to be in a very spiritual mode for certain reasons, it's not a problem. It's a spiritual ceremony and a spiritual ritual. Exactly. Another word for alcohol is the spirits. See, we look at things as bad and good. Once again, going back to the left and right brain hemisphere. Struggling with alcohol, because remember, when we drink alcohol, we're shutting down the conscious mind and entering into the subconscious, which is why some people need to do that, because they're trying to release themselves from the conscious restraints. So it depends how well you know yourself and why you're drinking and when you're drinking and what are you drinking and what time of the day are you drinking. All these things matter. It's not just drinking alcohol, because alcohol is an alchemy. That's what alcohol is. Alchemy and alchemizing is also mentalism. So it may be your spirit trying to shut down the ego so that the spirit can actually become and play within the third dimension. Because sometimes alcohol will release the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh dimension to play within the third dimensional experience. If you don't know how to do it organically, sometimes we need assistance. Alcohol may be that assistance to shut down that wall of the conscious mind, shut it off, and let the subconscious enter. These things matter. So you have to ask yourself, when are you drinking? What are you drinking? That's pretty much what you have to ask yourself. When are you drinking and what are you drinking? And for what reason? Because only you know that personally, what you're drinking or why you're drinking. Because struggling is when it's an addiction. But is it an addiction? Because, like I said, we look at things as positive and negative, but there will be no positive without negative. There's no negative without positive. There's just a neutral state of being, and it's your perception that makes it positive or negative. See, but in this society, we tend to overdo a lot of shit. We tend to overthink. We overeat. We overdrink. We oversmoke. So, there's certain things to keep in mind, but certain things like that, I can have a plethora of information for during the consultation. I have consultation information on my website, asyouare.com, asyuar.com. I also have my email at the bottom. You can get in touch with me. You could possibly make something happen. But that's not necessarily a problem. That's not necessarily an addiction, and it's not necessarily a struggle. It's only a struggle if you're seeing it as something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all. It's not a big problem. It's not a big deal. I don't do a lot of lives, so I'm just, I'm doing more lives every once in a while to engage with the community. So, it's all cool. It's all good. And that's another thing, Didi, as well. Look at it, see if it's serving your purpose. Whatever you do is serving you to some degree, for some reason. Something is trying to release, and you have to let it release. Listen to find kind of expressions throughout your activities. Different activities that you do is going to try to release itself. And if we see it as something good or bad, then we don't really see or receive the true clarity from it. We're going to see it as something wrong or right, evil, impure. And it's really not. Because the whole body itself is one alchemical machinery. Alcohol is alchemy. And it's done by the Moors, which dealt with people who dealt with the mystery system. It wasn't called alcohol. It wasn't a liqueur. It wasn't percentage. These were things that were done with a certain reason, for a specific intent, with a specific perception behind it. Are you doing it to access deeper realms within yourself that you are having difficulty or challenging doing by yourself? Sometimes we need external assistance because we're not fully managing, manipulating, and orchestrating the elements within internally. So sometimes we need external assistance. Like, we smoke weed, people smoke drugs, whatever you want to do, whatever, I don't care. Do what the hell you got to do to get internal, to get inside. Sometimes we drink and smoke and do drugs for the internal thing to turn on and say, okay, now I'm done. You activated me. You turned me on internally. We can now shut off the external stimulus. So can you do it, or whatever peak that you reach when you become intoxicated, can you do it without it now? Or sometimes, what I should do, sometimes I should trick myself. I should drink sake. Sometimes I may have a cup of wine, whatever, whatever. What the fuck you want to do? But I used to have a cup of wine or a bottle of wine when I used to get intoxicated off of sake. I used to just have the bottle of wine, have the bottle of sake, open the bottle, and put it on the counter in front of me while I was writing, or I was reading, or I was studying, or I was researching. And I used to begin just to feel intoxicated just with the bottle open around me without even drinking it. That's how you know that we're trying to seek the internal euphoric high, and it begins to turn on its own, just with you having it around you. Like, I used to smoke weed, and I stopped smoking weed around maybe 8 years ago, something like that, 8 or 9 years ago. I kind of stopped for whatever reason. But how I stopped too as well, I used to roll a blunt. I used to have my shit ready, put in the ashtray, leave it there, and put the lighter next to it. And just by me seeing it there, I began to feel high. So I knew automatically, with the liquor, with the sake, with the weed, that it was something inside of me that was actually turning on, rather than me sparking the blunt or drinking the sake. Like I said, sometimes we need external assistance to turn on something internally. So if it's turning on internally, use these little tricks. Sometimes get the bottle and just leave it there and see how you begin feeling within 20 minutes of just walking around it. And if you don't feel nothing, open or twist the cap and leave it open. You don't feel nothing, take the cap off. Leave the bottle there where it's at. Walk around it. See if you feel something. You don't feel nothing, or you begin to feel some kind of something which you can't describe within you, pour it in a cup and leave the bottle in a cup there on the counter and walk around it. But don't drink it. See how you feel. Sooner or later, that internal activation is going to turn on. Now, it is right there in that moment your choice whether you're going to drink that cup of wine or liquor, whatever you drink, or alcohol, or that is going to be your main ritual from now on to feel intoxicated. There's actually something within. So a lot of the times we use external stimuli to internally stimulate or turn on that internal stimulation, that activation. And it's really, what is the wine or alcohol or liquor doing? It's shutting down, it's relaxing you. It's the spirits trying to contact you. This is literal spiritual alchemy. It's not alcohol, it's not liquor, it's not wine, it's not none of these things. These are things to turn on something inside of you, that something inside of you knows the intelligence about you and is saying, this man and this woman is not doing it organically. So we have to use some kind of external organic substance to turn this shit on. And then how do you feel? You know, begin to make contact and communication with your body to see why and what you do what you do. Also, like I said, it's not an addiction if you're doing it for just special occasions. You know, certain settings are needed for certain reasons, unbeknownst to you, beyond us. The spirit is something to understand, but it's also something that can't be understood, as well as the soul. We have to keep these things in mind. So, you know, sometimes you may have an egoic irritants, and the alcohol, the liquor may shut that shit down. But when it shuts it down, what are you doing in that moment? You know, certain things to decipher. Like I said, these things like for, like, you know, consultations, because it goes back and forth, a question and answer, answering question. The more questions that's asked, the more I can reply to people individually, rather than, you know, a group of people in one setting on one live that have different things, different situations. This guy that got going. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Nah, it's all good. Like I say, you know, if you ever want to go more in depth on that, it's no big deal. You know what I'm saying? I book consultations, and I work with people. You know what I'm saying? I'm a people's person. I work with people. We all have situations. We all have things with us. Down here, you got to have some kind of damn vice, something. People love sex, love drugs, alcohol, whatever. You got to entertain the body. The body wants that entertainment, because if you don't entertain your ego will entertain itself with your spiritual nature, with your spiritual path. It will begin to entertain itself with your spiritual mission. So you got to satisfy your ego to a certain degree. You have to, because it'll use your spirit to entertain itself. When that shit happens, that's when you see, like I said, a lot of people that fall in love with their mask and their costume. And they just love dressing up all the time. I mean, all the time. You know, there's a time to take off your fez when you win the home. There's a time to take off your turban. There's a time to take off your wrappings. There's a time to take off your jewelry. You know, mask and costume. These things are for imagery, so we can see ourselves in a certain light, in a different light. We're thinking different, then yeah, the body and the image will begin to look different to match the mind's template. Sometimes when we outside, you know, we want certain people to see us a certain way, how we see ourselves, and that's okay, that's fine. You know, there's a time, as much as you put the shit on, you got to be able to take it off. Just dealing with the whole egoistic understanding in certain ways. Well, you have to entertain, you have to have some kind of vice. With this body, you have to. And when you have that vice, my best advice is to not judge it and to fully understand it. Understand why what's happening is happening and why you're doing what you're doing. You know, this comes to self-realization, self-reflection, so on and so forth. But it's a process, you know, it's a process. You're addressing it, which is the first step. So yeah, you are responsible for creating your own universe. Now, some people may be asking, well, how should one think? How should I think if I'm creating my own universe? I literally have to create my own universe? Yeah, you literally have to create your own universe, because like I said, we're not universal beings, we're transversal beings. We transfer from one universe to the next, mentally, and then we appear physically within it. So this is why they say you are spiritually conscious. You chose this time and this era to arrive and appear within. The whole purpose of life is to begin to decode and figure out, why the fuck did I come at this time? Why did I pick this image? Why did I pick these parents? You see what I'm saying? Why did I pick this family? Why did I pick this situation and condition I'm in? What am I supposed to be getting from it? What am I supposed to be freeing from it? What kind of alchemy work am I supposed to be doing? And yes, alcohol or weed or whatever else is going on is a part of the mission. So how should one think when they're creating their universe within, which is your bioverse, your inner verse? Because the universe I'm talking about creating is actually your inner verse. Going within the black holes within, these black dots, these black stains within your central nervous system, as well as within your brain. Your medulla oblongata, your locus coeruleum, your substantia nigra. These are different parts within the brain that have black stains or dark matter, melanin, melanocytes, melanosomes. These are actual, these black spots in your brain and these black dots or glial cells within your central nervous system is actual dark energy and dark matter that we see in our universe up in the sky at nighttime. It's literally a cosmic stain on your brain. It's literally a cosmic stain inside of your body systems. You access these things to access those things. So these are black holes and black stains and black spots for you to access, because within those black spots is a light that you are supposed to inherit. That's why we always go in the darkness. We close our eyes in meditation, because we're going into the black. We're going into the universe. The universe is not out there. The universe is behind your eyelids. When you close your eyes, you are in the universe. When I open my eyes, I'm back here in third dimension. I close my eyes, I'm anywhere between fourth and seventh dimension. I open my eyes, I'm back in third dimension. This is how this shit works. So how should one think when creating their own universe? Well, I'll tell you this. Thinking of politics, news, and entertainment, human politics, human news, and human entertainment is thinking way too damn small. Way too small when you're trying to create a universe. It's literally a pure waste of directed divine energy. These are all nano distractions that take place on one damn planetary body. If you're supposed to be creating planets, solar systems, galaxies, cosmos, and universes, then that way of thinking and attention injection is extremely minuscule and worthless. So if you are fascinated in how your favorite singer dressed when they went to lunch yesterday with one of your favorite actors or your actresses, you're on the internet looking at bullshit that has nothing to do with anything, with you creating your own perception and your own reality and your own universe, that's a big, huge waste of time and a waste of divine energy. This is why I say question what you are interested in. Question your interest. That is what you call all surface eye level illusions. You're supposed to be viewing your existence from a falcon eye point of view, a God's eye point of view. So these are all eye to eye level illusions. But we're supposed to be looking at things from bird's eye view, from falcon eye view, from hawk eye view. That's how you're supposed to begin reviewing your reality, because you're becoming the universal I. You're creating your own universe. You are becoming what you are creating. The universe is everywhere. And we get caught up with eye-to-eye level bullshit. Well, we're supposed to be looking, I'm not going to say down upon shit. Well, I can say that because I'm not meaning in a negative way. We're supposed to be overlooking or overseeing or over-towering our reality, not looking at it eye-to-eye. Because this is the illusion. This shit gets us caught in eye-to-eye level illusionary events and situations. This is when you know that you become a spiritual person, because you're able to have an outer body experience while you are still awake, present, and conscious in the moment. An outer body experience doesn't happen when someone dies, or not even during meditation, because some people, they tend to direct that towards death or meditation. But you can have an outer body experience while being conscious, awake, with your eyes open in the moment. Literally. This is how people, when they say, you're no longer reacting to a situation in your relationship or your marriage, you are now responding to it. Reacting is eye to eye level. Fuck you too. Response is, they say fuck you. Say, all right, that's how you feel. You're no longer reacting. That's bird's eye view. That's God's eye view. That's falcon eye. Eye to eye level is reactionary. Universal eye is responsive. And when you become responsive, you become responsible. Now you have a divine responsibility, because you have transcended the body. You have transcended the ego and the anchors which hold you down, which makes it heavy. Enlightenment, right? To be enlightened. Be light-footed, light-hearted. It's also a part of the understanding of enlightenment. So you're looking at things from a falcon eye point of view, or God's eye point of view. When you think from a minuscule, worthless point of view, an eye-to-eye level point of view, that's knowing how supreme you are, how important that you are, how powerful you truly are. When you fall victim to reaction and become a reactionary and very egoistic, which relationships are the best schools, marriages are the best schools, because these are people, your mate is the one that you give access to you psychologically and emotionally. And that's the greatest test. Someone that you give permission to have access to your psychology and your emotional state. Relationships, marriages, these are the best schools. Intimate relationships and marriages are the best schools of gnosis, to begin to see where you truly at besides where you think you're at. You think you're spiritual? That's the test. See how spiritual you are. See if they can get a reaction from you, or can they get a response from you. So once you know how supreme and divine that you truly are, I'm not talking to your ego, so don't get an egoic boost from this. I'm talking to your spirit, to your heart, to your being. Not to your doing, but to your beingness. Being supreme and so cosmic as you are, and you become reactionary to your mate or everyday, moment to moment, life to life, or human life situations, that's equivalent to a black hole in the universe worrying about the safety of a termite on Earth. That's equivalent to thinking like an ant rather than a supreme cosmic mind. You're a supreme cosmic mind thinking like an ant. That doesn't help you create your universe. You're a black hole. You're a cosmic, literal black hole in your own universe, worrying about the safety of a termite on a planet. That doesn't help to access your universal capabilities. It doesn't help. You get nowhere by thinking in that fashion. You get nowhere. You don't create shit. It's so minuscule. It's so worthless. You have to first access enlightenment when you're dealing with creating your own universe. Access enlightenment, or begin to activate enlightenment. But what is enlightenment really? What is enlightenment really? The word enlightened, to become enlightened. The word enlightened are the two words enlightened, which means to turn on the inner light or the lights within. with the light or lights being the synapses and synaptical connections. That's the enlightenment. That's the light within that you want to turn on. You want to turn on these distant and these foreign synapses that bounce from one neuron to the next. These lights that are there that you want to begin to spark on and turn on to begin to create your inner constellational system, your inner solar system. Because once you create your inner solar system, you can then access that system that you are creating within. You can literally access that system. But it has to first become created. If you don't create it, you don't access it. You have to create it first. Then you can access it. Once you create your solar system, you then access your solar system. Once you access your solar system, you then can begin creating your galaxy. When you create your galaxy, you can jump from your solar system into your galactical intelligence. Once you're in your galactical intelligence, you can then begin creating your cosmos. So you see, this is a never-ending synthesizing process. And as you synthesize and go deeper and deeper and deeper within, the layers of the ego begin to shed and shed and shed and fall off and fall off and fall off and drop off and drop off and drop off. This is why it's very important to begin to go deeper and deeper and deeper within. Exactly. The lighter you become, the more enlightened you become. So I said light-footed, light-hearted, light-minded. You receive the light, you become enlightened. I mean, it really is quite simple. A lot of people make this very complicated, extremely complicated. People explaining this on the internet in certain ways, extremely complex. It's a state of being. Yes, there's practices. Yes, there's methodologies to it, but it's primarily just a state of being and not falling for the reactive possibilities or the reactive situations. Because you have so much internal work to do, who the hell has time for all this external noise? All these external conditions, all these external situations, dealing with people. But you deal with them from a space of nothingness. You deal with them from your zero, because your zero is your true hero, and your hero is your Heru. Your Heru is what pops up, what comes out, what draws forth from you being that hero, from that zero state of beingness, to become that zero. But so many people done made so many damn personalities, so many identities for their self that they get lost within the folds and layers and sheets of their personalities and identities, and they fall in love with what they see in the mirror. This does not help one create their own inner universe. They fall in love with somebody else's story. Their favorite rapper did this. Their favorite singer did that. Their favorite actress wore that. Their favorite actor is doing this. We fall in love with histories, biographies, and documentaries, and we never get to find out what that true I is within us, because we get lost within the you. The you is supposed to keep you distant from your I. That's its job. That's its main job, to keep you from going within, to keep you from synthesizing. Synthesization is the key. That's why I always say sacred geometries, all these symbols above me throughout my home. These are sacred geometries. People may look at them and say, oh wow, that's a nice symbol. That's a nice thing. But these are seals. These are a synthesizing intelligence getting caught in mid-state, in a pause, which is called a metaphase. You're seeing it in a paused state. And each sacred geometry shows a different depth of self. How deep are you going within? The deeper you go within yourself, the different the geometrical symbols become. That's what it's for. It's not there to fall in love with the symbol or to fall in love with how it looks. We fall in love with the names, we fall in love with the histories behind it, and we never get to the mystery about it. We never get to the mystery. What is that? What the fuck is that? Where did it come from? We fall in love with the history and we lose sight of the mystery. We're looking for constant entertainment, constant stimulation. We fall in love with the people when we're supposed to be understanding principle. We get too personal with something that's not even a persona, it's not even a person. It's nothing physical to that understanding. It's actually unphysical, intangible, transparent, and a translucent intelligence. It's not something that's physical, but we have to see it with our two eyes so that the one eye, the heart, can open its eye. That's why we close these eyes so that this one eye can open. Every time these eyes are staring at something, it keeps this eye closed. Therefore, the heart does not receive the true gnosis from it. The eyes are connected to the ego. The hands, everything with physical nature is connected to the ego. And there's nothing wrong with playing with the ego, but make sure it's not playing with you. Make sure you're playing with it and it's not playing with you. Exactly. You have to begin to preserve. And then you reserve. When you preserve, you reserve. What am I reserving it for? I'm reserving that spot, that VIP is becoming reserved for the next me, for the new me, the arriving me, the upcoming me, the me that I'm drawing out from the I within. That's what I'm reserving. But I'm preserving the state to reserve a VIP for that new me. Exactly. And that self is selflessness. Because some people, if they don't see it as selflessness, or they don't see it as selfless, they become selfish. Wherever the spirit is at, the ego is never too far away. So when we talk about self, we're talking about selfless. But people actually become selfish. Because they feel that state, and it's very foreign to the ego. And if we're very attached to the ego ain't trying to let you go there. It's gonna be like, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't going there. We don't know what the fuck that is. I'm not going there. We ain't going there. We don't know what that is. And this is why people aren't really afraid of death. They're afraid of life. They're afraid to let go when it's time to let go. So they say, I'm afraid to die. No, you're afraid to live. You're afraid to let go of that which is familiar to you. You're not afraid of the other side because obviously your body is dying. The body is leaving. So the body is cool with that shit. The body is fine because it's here to do what it's here to do. This is why the skin and the elasticity of the skin, the wrinkles and all whatever hell happens within the skin begins to crack because the light is shining through the epidermis. It's time for the spirit to release. It's time for the soul to transcend. This is why the body and the person becomes more feeble, become more fragile. They're less motive or less mobile. Because as this body becomes more still, the spiritual body and the solar body becomes more active. It becomes more mobile. Well, fear, well, we went over that before too as well. You already know what fear means. It's not a word, it's an acronym. And an acronym is composed of initials. Do you know what the word fear stands for? What does FEAR stand for? Because these things are not words. Fear, if you don't know what it stands for, F, force, Anybody can finish if they want to. E is evidence. A is appearing. And R is the word real. Fear. F-E-A-R. False evidence appearing real. The false evidence is the false way that we perceive something. What is it that's fearing? Because, like I said before, if your spiritual intelligence and your solar intelligence is leaving, it has no problem with leaving. Exactly, Didi. It has no problem with leaving. So then you have to ask yourself, well, what the hell is it that's fearing? Because if my primal state, my divine intelligence actually arrives and it departs, what we call life and death. It's nothing but arrival and departure. So my natural intelligence, my natural makeup, my human body, the ingredients of this human body, the alchemy, the chemistry to this human body, internally and externally, arrives and departs. What is it that's fearing that arrival and departure? Because if my natural essence is to arrive and depart, which is natural and that's the most realist aspect of my being, then that which is fearing or opposing that natural process is the false me. False evidence appearing real. That false evidence is the ego or the brain. The heart is doing this process. You came in this motherfucker by love, you leave out with love. This is why you access the heart. The shaman walks the middle path. You have to begin to shut down the brain. The brain is what fears things. The body is what fears things. The ego, the identity, the personality, the persona, the mask, the costume. It fears to become obsolete, to be no more. What about if I told you that you're not the body anyway? Like I said before, your natural process is to arrive and depart. So therefore, it is the unnatural one that is fearful. It is the unnatural one that you have to begin creating distance and space between, because it's not real. If you put a rock on a piece of grass, that rock will be symbolic of, and you leave it there for about a week. When you come back to that rock, you're going to see leaves growing over that rock, growing over this way, growing over this way. That rock is going to be covered with leaves and blades of grass. It's going to be covered with leaves and blades of grass. Those blades of grass and those leaves are symbolic of the ego or the human frame. That rock is symbolic of the soul or spirit. The analogy means that it's the body which covers the soul and the spirit. And it's saying, what is this? What is this that's here? What is this that's present? I don't understand. What is this? There's two different relationships in this reality. Two different relationships. What you truly are is so divine, so cosmic, and so unknown. This is why everything is trying to find its way to you, and it's trying to wrap itself around you, and it's trying to stay there for as long as possible. Until you go back to that rock and pick up that rock. And then when you pick up that rock, certain leaves are going to be uprooted from the ground. Certain dirt's going to come with it. Certain blades of grass are going to still be on it. And you just wipe the rock off. Because it's trying to hold on to it. It's something kind of new. It's strange. It's abstract. It doesn't understand. So we're literally a system or an intelligence composed of two states that are oblivious to each other. The ego is oblivious to the soul, and the soul is oblivious to the ego. It doesn't know each other, but we are one composed thing that make the connection. But our true primal state is that rock, is that soul. The body just covers over it for a little while. But we have to begin to peel back those leaves and that blade of grass and lift up that stone when we need to lift it up. It's the blade of grass and the leaves that are fearful to leave that rock. But that rock has absolutely nothing to do with those leaves. Nothing to do with it. But the whole confusing state we get is that we are something beyond life and beyond death. We're neither life nor death. What do you mean by that? That which you truly are, well, I'll put it like this. If you experienced a life, like someone being born, a human being born, a kitten being born, a puppy being born, if you actually witnessed life happening, that means that you're not life. If you witnessed a death happening, a sick animal dying, or a dead animal on the road, roadkill, somewhere driving on the road, if you've seen a death and you've witnessed a life, it means that you're neither life nor death. You're something so beyond these things. These two states are kind of the same, but they are oblivious to each other. But what we truly are these two oblivions together. That's the crazy shit about it. So which one of these states are you going to accept arrival and departure, or are you going to fight departure? This is the understanding. You have to put yourself in a certain unique and rare space of existence and just begin to witness what's happening. You are the witnesser. You witness life and you witness death. We're neither one of these things. Life and death are just your life, your son and your daughter. They're your grandkids. They're not you. They're just things that we utilize to enter into something and to exit out of something. But the entering and the exit has a purpose. What are you here to do? And people may say, well, there's so many things I can factor in. I can say, I'm here for this, I'm here for that. Yeah, you can say that. There's many different things you can look back and say, well, maybe I'm here for this, or maybe I'm here for that. Maybe I'm here for this, or maybe I'm here for that. There's many different options, many different variations, many different variables, it's endless. But one thing that we all know for sure, that we all connect on and we all tie on and we all meet at, that all is mind. No matter what you do or what you want to do, or your passion, your desire, your path, your calling, all is mind. So there's something about the mind that you need to know. And like I said before, your whole body is shaped the shape of a neuron. Your whole body, including your hand, you turn your hand upside down. This is the head. These are the two arms and these are the two legs. Your hand itself is shaped like a human body. Your human body is shaped like a neuron. It's shaped like a melanocyte in your skin, a neuron in your brain. All is mind, universe is mental. Once the brain's dead, I'm dead. Well, the word dead means deed. You're doing the deed. You're going according to cosmic law, universal order, or universal law and cosmic order. You're not the brain anyway. The brain dies with the body. I'm sure we all seen a dead family member at one time. And we said, damn, my uncle, my aunt, my grandmother, my grandfather, mother, father, whoever, they were just talking to me. They were just hugging me. We were just interacting. We were just playing chess, playing cards. And you look at the body and the body's dead and it's not moving. And you're saying, why are they not talking to me anymore? Why are they not hugging me anymore? What happened? Because what they truly were wasn't that body to begin with. It never was. It never can be. These are uniforms that we take on, like a wetsuit. This is a wetsuit, and we have the sky because we're deep, deep down under many fathoms and many abyss of water, many leagues of water, what we call oxygen. This is a wetsuit you take on. So obviously we're not the body. But what your aunt or your uncle or your grandmother, your grandfather, what they truly were is no longer there in that body. It's no longer animating. It's no longer moving. The body dies with the brain dies with the body. That's what it's meant to do. But you are supposed to be utilizing this uniform for some reason. You have to begin utilizing this uniform. We did not perceive this body the same we perceive this body now. We didn't have so much maintenance, and we didn't fall in love with it so much. We actually seen this body as a cooking vessel. That's why we have chemistries, because there's certain chemicals that have to begin to align up in order to access deeper dimensions and deeper realms and deeper planes of existence within the intelligence of mind itself. We use this as a cooking pot, as a cooking vessel. All right, the profile. What's going on, family? Nice to see you here, fam. Appreciate the attendance. So it wasn't called the body. No matter whether it's the brain, whether it's the skin, the bones, the muscle, the organs, the blood, whatever. It all comes with the whole damn package. The package is the same. It comes together. It comes as one. But this is not you. As a matter of fact, your body, like they say, what's your truest enemy? Or what's your worst enemy? Anybody know that saying? What is your worst enemy? What they say, your worst enemy. The whole worst enemy. My worst enemy. The worst enemy is the human body. That organism that slipped out of your mother's womb, the first 3 breaths it takes anchors you inside the body. It actually sucked you in. It vacuumed you inside of this body. The first breath the baby took, that organism that took out of your mother's womb, which is the body, the suit that you're wearing, that baby took that first breath, what you truly were got trapped in the esophagus and the lungs. That baby took that second breath, you got trapped within the intestines. That baby took that third deep breath, you got trapped underneath the gastrointestinal tract. It is our job now and our responsibility to begin climbing back up out of that, which is why when you transition out the body, you take that last breath or that last exhale, that last, because it was that first breath when you were a baby, or when you were a baby, let's just say, and you took that first breath when you slipped out of that womb, you got sucked into this body. You took that second breath, you got sucked in deeper. You took that third breath, you got anchored in officially underneath the gastrointestinal tract, where the root chakra is at, what we call the root chakra. You got rooted into this damn reality. You rooted yourself, or this organism sucked you in. Yeah, and the deeper we became, the more darker it became. The more darker it became, the more challenge, the more the shadow appeared. And now this is why this whole thing is about shadow work. To begin your shadow work. Your shadow is the reflection of your dark side. But you have to interact with your shadow in order to exit out of that dark side, or out of that dark intelligence, or out of that dark purpose. This is why what you see in the mirror is your truest enemy. Because it is this organism in front of you right now. This organism sucked me in when it breathed me in. It got me trapped in the neck, the esophagus. It got me trapped in the lungs. It got me trapped in the intestines and the gastrointestinal tract. The more this organism called the Mayas sucked me in to have a mission and a purpose. And when I complete my mission and my purpose, I exhale out of this shit and continue my divine order. No doubt, Diddy. So this is the whole point. This is why they say the worst enemy is you. You are your worst enemy. It's the you that's your worst enemy, not the I in within that's the worst enemy. It's the you, the uniform. You are your worst enemy. Is uniform is your worst enemy. You, uniform. is your worst enemy. That's the whole U. Not just the Y-O-U word, but the letter U. And then uniform. Uniform is your worst enemy. The uniform. But our mission, our purpose is to rescue the unicorn within the uniform. That's what the unicorn, the horn that comes out of its skull, is symbolic of the pineal gland, or what is known as the coronarium. That's why it's called a unicorn, because before it was called the pineal gland, it was called a coronarium. So we have to now rescue the unicorn enveloped within the uniform, to once again return back to that formless, selfless nature of self. It's the whole purpose, the whole point. So when we got sucked into the darkness of this body, the darkness of that uniform or that universe appeared. So how do we transcend the uniform? By accessing the universe within the uniform to rescue the unicorn. The united coronarium. The pineal gland. Exactly. We take deep, slow breaths. The slower the breath we take, the more calm we are. Our true nature, our soul, which resides in the gastrointestinal tract, it elevates. The more calm and relaxed, the more it begins to elevate. And it's a light. And that light, when it reaches this level, we become enlightened. When you become enlightened, that is a proof and evidence that the soul is it's paying for its plane ticket. It's paying for it. Your plane ticket is already paid. If you're conscious and aware right now, then your plane ticket is paid for. This is why when I talk about manifestation, I say manifestation, what we call manifestation, all this manifestation craze, manifesting this, manifest. Manifestation, true manifestation is relaxation. Think about it. If you're trying to manifest wealth, gold, more money in your bank account, more money in your pocket, whatever. True wealth are minerals. They're gold. If you want to talk about the dollar bill is a tree. It's nature. It's wood. If you want gold grows in the soil, in the dirt. Nature is a graceful, relaxing phenomenon. So you don't want to ask for gold bars. You want to become friendly with the soil. You want to become one with the soil, one with nature. Become grace-like, fluid-like, relaxed-like the trees blow in the wind and rustle the leaves within the breeze. You want to become that relaxed state. True manifestation is relaxation. When you become relaxed, you become one with what you're calling or what you're requesting. This is why I was saying before, return back to your playful nature, return back to your imagination. Because that's right brain activation. Right brain activation is intuition, creativity, and reception. To receive. To become intuitive is to be connected with all. When you are connected, creativity is to become creative, imagination. Reception, then you begin to receive what you begin to imagine. Exactly, with straight currency. And what we call the dollar bill or money, another word for money, is energy. Anybody know the other word for energy? There's a synonym for the word energy. A synonym for the word energy is currency. Currency is energy. Energy is currency. So if we're calling currency to us, we have to become the energy that it is. So you don't necessarily have to request something or want something or desire something. Just become that something that you are desiring, because vibration alike seeks the vibration alike. Vibration A is drawn to vibration A. Vibration B is naturally drawn to vibration B. Become what you want to receive. This is why I say be very aware of what you give your attention to, what you keep looking at, what you keep constantly clicking on YouTube all the time, what you're constantly typing in Google. You're constantly looking to see who's wearing what, who looks like what, who dissed what, who had a fight with who dissed, who said what to who, how they're dressing, how they're living, what they look like. See what I'm saying? Well, a lot of my videos, my path is truly based on, I'm here to understand what love is. That can be very expounded upon, extremely expounded upon. The beginning of my path was based upon love, to understand what love is. I'll put it like this. Love is how you feel about somebody regardless of how they make you feel. It's a negative energy, not negative as in wrong or right or evil. Negative meaning that when something has a negative ionic spin, it's a giving off. It gives and it gives and it gives and it gives. It's like the scent of a flower, the scent of organic oils. The organic oil is not giving you the smell so that you can give it something in return. It just gives off. Love is a negative ion or a negative ionic spin. It gives and it gives. When we begin to say, well, what did you do for me? That's not love. Just like we love our child, we love nature, we love a lion just walking across you, or a mile away from you, or a giraffe, or a beautiful animal. It ain't doing shit for you. You're looking at it and you're appreciating it. Like we love our child, our babies, our children. The child ain't doing nothing for you. You're just emanating something. It's a radiation and a certain emanation that's not looking for something in return. It's something that gives and doesn't have, it's an address that doesn't have a mailbox. It just gives. You're just a constant, it's a post office that doesn't have a mailbox. You're just giving and giving and giving until you can't give no more. You're here to release yourself. What you call love is your experience. This whole experience is your experience. How are you experiencing the reality that you are creating? The ego is saying, what about me? What about me? What about me? What about me? Give me, give me, give me back. Give me something in return. That's not love. That's selfishness. Like I said, this whole path is about selflessness, not selfishness. Selflessness. To become selfless. And if you're looking for something to come back to you, that means you're looking for a gathering. You're looking for attachment. You're looking to clothe yourself with something in return. But love is a natural spewing emanation. Only when we seek something in return is when we start to fuck up. We're a natural giving people. Vibration gives outward. If you hold the pencil right now at the tip of the pencil and you hold it there for a little while and you don't move, sooner or later that pencil will just drop on the floor. Because there's a vibration vibrating from us inward, outward. It's not trying to grab the pencil. The pencil is not going like this more and more inside your finger. You hold that pencil at the tip, sooner or later that pencil will just drop. That alone says that we have an inner vibration that vibrates outward. It's an external. It's a giving and letting off and letting out. It's not a come here. We have hands and arms to hug and embrace, but that is by choice and decision. Our true nature is to just give. So if you're in a relationship with your mate, your wife, your husband, whoever it may be, and they piss you off or they do something to try to trigger your ego, go out and buy them something. Do the total opposite. Freak your ego out. Do the total abstract, because this is when you begin entering the chamber of the heart. The brain is saying she's wrong, she's right. He's wrong, he's right. He knew better, she knew better. But when you cut that shit out and you no longer pay attention to that, the heart begins to open. And another synonym or another word for heart is the eye. The third eye is not only here in the pineal gland. The third eye is the first eye, which is the heart. You are here to access your heart. I'm bringing every attention back to its primal point of beingness and existence, its beginning point. We came in here, we came in this reality through the heart. You leave through the heart. Either your mother loved your father when they made you, or your father loved your mother when they made you, or they loved each other and they made you. You came through somebody's heart. So how you enter in here is how you exit out of here. I have another video about that too as well. You come in here through the heart, you leave out through the heart. It's on, I think, on my regular list of just regular videos. I don't think it's on a live. I think it's on a regular list of just video, the video section of my channel. It touch upon different aspects of how the ancient Olmecs, the Mayans, what you call the Egyptians, Cometians, they all touch upon the importance of this heart. All religions or belief systems or spiritual systems or mystery systems all touch upon the mystery of the heart chamber, the Het Heru. The word heart comes from the word Het. Het Heru is Hathor, which is a feminine component, a feminine intelligence. It receives without requesting. So appreciate what you receive without requesting what it is that you have received. Find that natural reception mode, the right brain, which is the feminine brain. Once again, going back to playtime, playfulness, imagination. Love is also a certain kind of process and intelligence of manifestation, because love puts you in a playful mode. You may imagine your man a certain way, that shit turns you on. You may imagine your woman a certain way, that shit turns you on. You're using your imagination. You're playing with them. You're touching upon them. You're squeezing them. You're pinching them. You're kissing them and running off. Y'all playing in the bed, playing on the couch, playing at home, playing tag in front of your house, the yard, the lawn. Just doing a whole bunch of stupid shit. Playtime is manifestation. Imagination is manifestation. This deals with the first and second chakra. So stay on your first and second chakra. But like I said, this explaining can go in many different directions. Like I said, I can go a lot deeper into it with consultations. I just tell people just have their questions ready, because the more questions you ask, the deeper I go within the subject. The deeper I go within the subject, it gets deep. But it's very simple. It's not complex. It's not complicated. It's quite simple. And it's a state of being rather than a state of doing. You're going to do things, but make sure that what you do comes from the state of being, not from the state of wanting or needing. Don't become wanty or needy or greedy. You're doing it from a state of, if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, I don't give a shit. There's a quote in a movie that one of the elders had passed to me and others as well. A movie called Adaptation with Nicolas Cage. There's a part in Nicolas Cage where him and his brother, they were in the woods and somebody was chasing them, and Nicolas Cage was talking to his twin. He played a twin of himself, and a nerdy twin and like a cool twin. The nerdy twin asked the cool twin, said, yo, what happened to that girl Mary? What happened to that girl Sarah? I'm thinking about her. How is she doing? Have you seen her? The cool twin told the nerdy twin, he said, you know, what you thinking about her for? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, she done played you. She talked about you. She called you an idiot. She said you were stupid. She cheated on you. She did a whole bunch of shit behind your back. I don't know why you worried about her for. What you think about her for? The nerdy twin, what he said was the most profound part of the movie. And this is about an aspect of love. The nerdy twin told the cool twin, he responded to him like this. He said, well, that was her problem. And the cool one was like, what? The nerdy one was like, well, listen, I experienced what love was. I experienced what it was like to be with somebody beautiful, what it was like to care for somebody and love somebody and cherish every moment and the experience with someone. If she missed out on it, that's her motherfucking problem. You're here to free you. You're here to experience what love is. You're here to experience what hatred is, to experience what understanding is, wisdom, knowledge, care, compassion. These are experiences that we are taking in our book bag of our experience, and we're taken back into the primal existence when we leave this body. Yeah, you continue your love towards them and don't stop. Just keep loving them. Or keep radiating this love. Because in reality, you didn't find him and he didn't find you, or you didn't find her and she didn't find you. Love found itself. We have to begin taking ourself out of the equation, because it's really about principle. And when we lose sight of that which is principle, we become personal. And when we become personal, we get stuck in the persona, which is the mask, the costume, the identity, and the personality. Begin to see things and perceive things as principle rather than something that is personal. Because once we understand, holy shit, I didn't seek her. She didn't seek me. Love just found itself. The whole point is to begin to eliminate each other out the equation and water and nurture that which keeps that moment and that experience going. You continue to water that. Take yourself out of the equation. Take him out the equation. Take her out the equation. Take the personal view and perception of it out the equation and just focus on the principle. The principles are care, communication, connection, growth, experience. See, principles are not personals because they don't have a body. They're not a person. The body is what takes things personal, and this is where we begin to go off the rails, because now we fell in love with our personality and identity. It's the personality and identity that's saying, what about me? What about me? What about me? But there is no personality without principality. You can't talk to him unless the principle of communication exists. He can't talk to you unless the principle of communication exists. Principle is the foundation. That which is personal is the structure that is built upon the foundation. Without the foundation, there is no structure. Without principality, there is no personalities. There is no persons. There is no you and him or you and her. Without principality, without principle. So therefore, we have to begin questioning what things we take personal and what is it that's taking that thing personal. Because the principle is my primal force, my primal purpose, my primal energy. And I'm taking something personal, I have to go back to my drawing board now. I have to do some reevaluation. I have to do some reanalyzation of self, because I'm taking things personal. I'm getting lost in the structure rather than staying in the foundation of existence. It is the principle which protrudes that which is personal, or the persona, or the person, or the personality. And if you don't like your personality, and you find it a nuisance to your relationship, the personality, which is a structure, you can always destroy the structure and then reconstruct a new structure. Just as long as the foundation of principality is acknowledged, understood, and respected. I go very deep on these subjects in my videos that deal with love, connection, what is silent communication. This was my path. I didn't even turn on no damn lights in my house. I'm getting lost in the conversation right now. And once again, I didn't finish what I really came here to do. I have many points on how the universe, how to begin creating your own universe and so on and so forth. I guess I'll touch upon that one. I didn't even finish my last live before when I had, what was the last live about? Damn. Shit. I forgot. It's one of my last lives. I had so many points I touched upon like maybe 1 or 2 or 3, and I did the same damn thing again today. But it's all good, you know what I'm saying? I'm interacting with my subconscious subscribers. I'm glad y'all here. I'm glad you attend. Just keep attending. Stay in contact. Stay in reach. Hit me on the email. Like I said, check out the website as well. My products hold a lot of spiritual potential. A lot. The oils, the sprays, the crystal clear packages, my Urban Love. Made a whole concoction of herbs that you can smoke. You can use it as a potpourri. I have many different products on my website, asyuar.com, asyuar.com. I'm going to leave my email information on the bottom as well. Get in touch with me by email for consultations. Like I told people as well, you can leave a tip in the Cash App if you want to. It's very much appreciated. It goes towards the library in my home, more research, more knowledge, more gnosis. I get more and more deep into this knowledge, and I give the light back in return to people or those who are still in the shadows or finding themselves out of the shadows or finding their way out of the shadow states and the shadow self. Right now, we in the shadow. As you can see, this is dark as hell right now. Goddamn. I forgot to turn on the light. I'm going to go turn on the light in a minute. But, I guess this is what the live is for the day. I didn't get too much into it that I wanted to get into, but I got into what I was supposed to get into and interact with who I was supposed to interact with. Last time was about the video that you made about the world. And okay, yeah, that's right. But there was a title to it. I forgot that damn title. Shit. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a video of just this, the whole universe aspect to create the universe within, because this gets very deep, very deep. And I'm also gonna make a whole video about, or just make a regular video, not a live, but a regular video about the other thing, the embryo. I think you were never born. No, I think I did you were never born. I don't know, it's one of them shits I forgot. But I'll make a whole video about that one, and a whole video about this one, the points that I want to touch upon. And as far as my lives, I said I gotta make it like a lot shorter to understand and get more into the points of deep shit, because we all are in some deep shit, and not in a negative way, in the shadows, in the darkness, and we're finding our way out of these damn shadows. It is now that time. This dimension is breaking, which is why when you turn on the internet, you turn on Google, especially YouTube, it's always about some political shit, some government shit, some this and that, and also the crap. And it's just a distraction. It's just an interference. It's just an interruption. It's just something to keep you out of you. But make sure you stay within. You're very welcome. Appreciate you all for attending today's live as well. The acknowledgement is very much appreciated in both ways, tenfold, as always, in all ways. Check out my videos once again, and stay acknowledged with the stay on up to date with the post. Turn on your notifications. Keep the notifications on for videos, regular videos that post up live. Sometimes I'm just gonna come on live and not even mention it. And I usually do this on Saturdays and Sundays. I may do another one tomorrow as well. I'm really thinking about doing another one tomorrow. So if I have, I'm most likely I'm gonna do another one tomorrow. I may not post the time because I'm very spontaneous like that. I'm in the moment. When I get some shit, I want to say some shit. I want to share it. And the spirit says, get it out to that person or get it out to those people. And I'll just go on live. So keep your notifications on. Be up to date with the post. This community is getting vast. Like I said, I have classes, I have courses. If you're interested in that, get in touch with me by email, ASAP, because the classes fill up very quick. Like I told people, classes are insane. Powerful, professional presentations and PowerPoints or PowerPoint presentations. Very powerful presentations and professional as well. Have professional graphic designers on my classes that do the imagery and things of that nature, because the image is just important as the message is just as important as the image. You got to match both when you're talking to people. I know the importance of it because I had that same kind of treatment going through my path. So classes and courses, if you want, like I said, show some love in the Cash App, is $ Amias as one, $ AMIAS1. Amias as one is the Cash App. And I'll see y'all, most likely I'm still tomorrow. I'm gonna turn on some damn lights tomorrow too as well, so I can, because we're really in the shadows right now. We're in the dark with the ancients or the ancestors called the dark matter think tank. That's what we in right now. I appreciate y'all for appreciating me, and I'll see you guys mañana, tomorrow most likely. I might just go on spontaneously, so just keep notifications on, and I'll see y'all there. Enjoy your evening as well, Didi. See you there. Appreciate y'all. As you all. Have your questions ready for tomorrow. See ya.